Doctor, MBBS MD of Medicine and Cardiology at FACC India. It's an honor. What does it take to make a company successful, to make a human being successful? Welcoming you. We're going to hear it from the people who are showing us the way. I call upon Jasmine to share her story. There you are. Bring the mic up. Sure. Thank you.
Good evening, beautiful people. I like the chum-chums. It's a great honor to be back on this forum, back on this stage. It's my fourth fantastic year at Women Economic Forum. It's actually bringing me quite nostalgic because, 4 years back when I came for the first time on this forum, all thanks to Dr. Harbeen until date, I was launching my startup. And today, I'm running my startup very successfully. We are the #3 childcare in the city. And today I'm talking about how to make the company successful. I think, isn't it incredible? While growing up, I always believed in the saying that, it takes money to make money. But when I was working on my startup, I realized that it is not only money which is required. I stopped believing into that saying because I realized that if you have a little lesser funds, it is potentially good for your business because it is going to then take you to places where you've never been to. It is going to make you do things that you have never dreamt of doing before. While some of the people, they push themselves, they hold themselves back in pulling the trigger of starting their own startup because they feel that funding is the most important thing. Secondly, perhaps they are not too ready to, be writing their own salary checks for some time. Isn't it? So there have been various examples. There have been numerous organizations which started and are making billions in the industry today without even having any funds to begin with. Let me give a small example of Shutterstock. John Oenger, he was an amateur photographer. He was a professional software developer. Using and combining his skill set along with the 30,000 photographs from his stock library, he built up a stock photo website. And today, his organization, and he's a self-made billionaire, his organization is running into $2 billion. Isn't it amazing? So it is not only funding that is required to start your organization and to take it to the next level. I did my own research when I was starting with my organization into childcare industry. So I realized there are 5 key parameters on which every entrepreneur must focus upon. First is the idea. You need to have a rocking idea, which is different. That's what I thought. Then I thought it's important to have the team, because if you have an idea, but you don't have people who are adaptive enough, who are not there to share the vision that you have for your startup, it is futile. Then I realized, I even heard Mark Tyson saying that everybody has a plan, but everybody gets punched down on the face, then only you realize it. So it's important to have a great business model. And even if you have a great business model, you need funding. You definitely need funds to run that business, run that organization, run that empire that you're starting with. And the most important thing is timings. You would not believe that success of any organization today amounts to timings being the 50% criteria. I'll repeat it once again. The success of any organization or any startup that has initiated, timings amounts to 50% reason of its success today. Let's take a small example of Airbnb. What happened with that organization? That organization has been passed on by various smart investors because they thought, who is going to rent out a space in your house for a stranger for that matter, isn't it? Right? But see what happened. They just launched and started their organization at the perfect timings when the recession has hit our industry and people wanted to earn more money. And see where the organization is today. Look at Uber as an excellent example. One of the ladies sitting here today, she's been traveling from Bangalore. I think Lata was mentioning to me how Uber has been fantastic enough in ensuring that she reaches here safe. So it's the great organization and with an incredible business model. But look at the timings. They started and launched their organization and the business model when drivers were in lookout for making some extra money. So timings are very, very important. About my own journey, as an entrepreneur. I had quit my growing career with IBM India almost a decade back because I wanted to be an educationist, and today I successfully run a childcare organization which is operational 24/7 and which is the first of its kind in India. For me, timings again played a very, very important role because that was the phase when I realized working into the space of an HR, I realized that so many women, who are on sabbatical, who have taken career break because of their own child, they have all the reason to work guilt-free. They need to be back into the industry. They have all the reasons to come back and live their professional career. But there was a requirement of having a good and an effective childcare organization which is there as a support, not just looking after their kids, but also helping the child develop in the right capacity where and when the parent is not there. That was the timing when I started with this business. And government has also started, they made a seismic change into making some regulatory changes, wherein they extended the maternity leave from 3 months to 6 months, and there were furthermore changes which they brought into the policy. So what I mean to say is that timings always play a utmost important role when you are starting a business or when you're running a business. When you're launching a product, when you're marketing a product, we have heard our previous panel speaking so beautifully about launching products. So timings is very, very important. So my last 2 cents before I close my pitch is that very early in life I found that there is nothing more worthwhile than taking risks in life. Trust me, nothing. Nelson Mandela once said that there is no passion to be found in settling for something less than the life that you've always envisioned and the life that you know that you're capable of living. So these are such wise words. I am sure that so many of you, when you were choosing your subjects into your college, or you were choosing a college for that matter, or choosing your major subject, so many people around you must have suggested you that, honey, have a backup option. You need to have something to fall back upon, isn't it? But I never get this concept, darling. The reason is, even if I fall, why do I fall back? I would rather choose to fall forward. So at least this way, I will see what I'm falling at, isn't it? Take risk in life. Go ahead. Unless and until you do not take risk, I'm sure you're going to fail sometime. Don't have fears of failing. Because if you do not fail, that means you're not trying in life. So this is one of the key successes of being into a business and for your own growth into the life. Even if you're preparing for an IQ test, there are 5 dots. I'm sure we all have been through the IQ test, isn't it? So to join those 5 dots, you cannot join them unless and until you don't take that pencil out of the box. So think out of the box, have freedom of thought. You all have talent within you. But do you have the guts to fail? Ask yourself. And if you do not fail, that means you're not trying. So what I mean to say is that if you want to achieve something in life that you have always dreamt of achieving, you need to step out and do that something that you have never done before. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine. I always love listening to you, as do all of us. Thank you for that beautiful notion that even if you're falling, fall forward. So you're still covering ground in your failure. So we're still moving forward, carrying the lessons and the wisdom of not a failure, just an impediment. I'd like to invite Bolly Beats, Nidhi.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to first thank Dr. Harbeen as well as Women's Economic Forum for this opportunity as well as this recognition. It's a very special one because it relates to my dance career. I will talk a lot about the topic that we have in hand relating to my own personal journey with Bolly Beats. So my story goes this way. I've always been a very, typical Indian student who after school went to a college. I went to LSR, did my BCom honors. Very conventionally after that went to do my MBA. Finished that, got hired by a consulting firm called McKinsey & Company. Worked over there for 1.5 years, and then my life took a different turn. So when we talk about work is not work when you do something which you're very passionate about, that's my story. After 1.5 years of working with McKinsey, I quit, and I was always a very passionate dancer from like a very young age, from school. I used to be a part of all the dances, I used to always choreograph, and I would be just dancing all the time, right? But that was for fun, and all of us love dancing. All of us go dance at parties, dance at school events. How life turned for me was that when I moved to the US in 2001, and in 2002 I got an opportunity. Somebody asked me that, oh, you dance very well, I saw you at a party, can you help my children prepare for a dance, they're going for a competition. And I did, and I said, yeah, I'm free, why don't you send them, I'll help them. And I actually started out of a garage, my own home garage. And when I taught them and they won the competition, the moms came back to me and they said, oh my God, they won the competition, why don't you start teaching them on a regular basis? And I realized that I wasn't just good at dancing, but I actually enjoyed teaching them. I enjoyed choreographing, I enjoyed teaching them different ways when they couldn't learn the first time that I taught them, how to break the steps up and how to teach them in a more creative way so they could get it. And that really began my story. My MBA helped me and my studies because it enabled me and empowered me to take it to the next level and not just keep it in the garage. I actually opened my own company in Silicon Valley, and like a true business that grew out of a garage, in Silicon Valley, mine was that. And my first dance studio was established in 2002 with literally maybe $50 of capital, which I had to pay as rent to the studio. And it just grew from there. And I think what ticked for me and what made my company successful, or what we put as a definition of success or growth, is that I've just been so passionate about what I've done, and I've been so fortunate. Because I heard Amarji talk about passion, and I realized that for a lot of us, we find that passion very late in life. And I was really, really fortunate that I found my passion very early in life, and that opportunity became my life. I started teaching, my first batch was 20 students. I never advertised, but I never looked back. When I left Bay Area, Silicon Valley, I sold my company in 2005. I had 450 registered students. I was teaching classes at Oracle, Google, Cisco, Yahoo. I was doing team building workshops, and that's where my management skills came into being. And I had converted something which was so creative and something that we always aspire to do into a full-fledged professional business, which was making good money, but was giving me amazing amount of flexibility of time, and it was never work for me. I literally lived. My work was track pants. That was my work attire. And I choreographed. I did pageants for Miss India America. I taught at Stanford University, and I was just meeting most amazing people. And what really contributed to my growth and success is, I think, a lot of family support. So I think for most of the companies to be successful, we need support from others. It's not an individual journey, it's not an individual story. It was support from my family, most of all. It was support from my instructors who helped me to grow, because alone I couldn't have just done the entire classes. And it was support from all my students who helped me through word of mouth, getting me more students, putting a word across. And with Bolly Beats, in my 18 years of that journey of passion and work and entrepreneurship, I have traveled to France, I've traveled to Bangladesh, I've traveled to Indonesia, Thailand, India, Singapore, USA, just conducting team building, corporate workshops, and dance workshops. So thank you so much for this opportunity to speak about my journey, and I really thank Dr. Harbeen. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Nidhi. Your journey is as vibrant as it is inspirational. Thank you so much for being here. I'd like to invite once again to take the main stage, Sunil Tulsiani. You need the handheld, right? There it is.
Thank you very much. My name is Sunil Tulsiani, and how many of you saw me yesterday? Please raise your hands. A few of you. I was born in Madhya Pradesh, brought up in Delhi, right here. And then I went to Toronto, Canada at the age of 13. In Toronto in 1990, I became a police officer. And from being a uniform officer to becoming a detective to all the way becoming a platoon commander. And one day, my wife comes to me in 15 years of marriage and says, we're going to have a divorce. My wife is right here. Let's give her a hand, please, for Sangeeta being here. Yes. So we have 2 children, and I used to tell people that my family is the most important part, but I always used to act the other way. I used to act if my profession was more important than the family. So I left the profession that I loved very much and went into business, into real estate. And today, we own the largest real estate investment club in North America, being Canada and the United States. So the success, how do you bring success is very simple. I was a very bad student, actually. I was never a good student. I never got good marks. And my mom used to tell us that if you want to do really well, you got to study very hard. And if you don't study hard, nothing will come out of that. And I have proved them a little bit wrong because the studies that we do in school versus what's needed in real life to succeed are completely sometimes opposite. For example, if I was in grade 12 and I got 98% in mathematics and someone else didn't get that high marks, if that person was sitting right beside me during the examination, if you were allowed to sit beside me, and I get 98%, and you were allowed to learn and copy from me, that would be absolutely wrong in the school system. In the real world, that is the fastest, the safest, and the best way to become wealthy and to become successful. You find somebody who has what you want, and you copy them. This is opposite to what the school system teaches us. And another thing I want to say to you is that when I was growing up, my parent told me, if you're going to do something big, you're a man. You got to do it with your own hands. You got to do it by yourself. Do not rely on anybody else. Do not ask for help. Do not ask for anything. Just do it yourself. And that's what I was taught in school as well. In the real world, you do need to have an interdependence relationships with people because you cannot be everything. You cannot be the marketer, you cannot be the seller, you cannot be the CEO and the secretary, you cannot be all yourself. So you need to have teams of people who are going to take you to the next level. And the biggest thing in this world to grow is to build relationship capital. A relationship capital is very simple. It's basically you find people that you build a relationship with who can be your mentors, who can be your mentees, who can be your customers, your clients, your partners, your joint venture partners, or whatever it is. You need to find these people and you need to figure out how to make it a place where it's great for everybody. Now, how many of you heard in business to grow, you need to create a win? What's the next one? Win-win situation, right? In my opinion, when you're growing and you're finding people, you create win-lose situations. A win-lose situation is very simple. If you find somebody who's doing better than you are and you want their help, if you go to them and say, we are going to create a win-win situation, you do not yet qualify to say to them that we're going to create a win-win situation. You go to them and find out what they want, and before you ask for anything, you give them what they want when they're successful. So in any time of business around the world, what you need to do is you need to find that relationship capital and create a win-lose situation to grow. Now, what you do is, whether you're a man or a woman, figure out who you can help. How can you help people? At the end of the day, the number of dollars or rupees or pounds or whatever you make is direct correlation of how many people you are going to help on the planet. So whether you're a hairdresser, whether you're a CEO of a big company, whether you're an investor, or whether you're a public speaker or an author or whatever it is, it's the relationship of if you made $1 million, that means you must have touched a lot of people's lives. That's the mentality you have to have. The mentality that I have is that if I'm going to make $1 million, that means I must have given out $2 million worth of services at the minimum. So that way you can never be greedy. You can never be greedy. If you made $10 million, that means you've given out $20 million worth of value to the society, to the world, to the people around you. This is the big thing to do that at the end of the day. It's not all about, okay, well, I just want to make money. It's all about how am I going to make the change in this world. And at the last but not least, I would say to you is that you become a person that attracts, not gets people. You attract the right people. You attract the right customers. You attract the right clients. Today, we're fortunate enough to help investors make money. We were fortunate enough to have women become best-selling author. I help people become best-selling authors, the top monetizable businesses. And whatever you do, figure out how you're going to take your hobby and monetize it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sunil. Always a pleasure. Thank you for taking all the ideas and the fundamentals that we may have had and flipping them on their heads. Thank you so much. That was enchanting. If I could invite Neha Tripathi to please take us through her talk show.
Thank you. So Dr. Harbeen Arora, how do you feel after every 15 minutes when you get to hear thank you for inviting me? So in this thankless world, after every 15 minutes, since yesterday I'm seeing everyone on the stage, the first thing that they say is, thank you, Dr. Harbeen Arora. Wow. How can we create a community like this where we take a center stage and every time people look up to us with respect, they give us respect not because you are doing some kind of a favor to them, but they give that humble respect because you genuinely deserve that. And that is from where I come, from that space of how can I create a space around myself where there is more of genuine people around me and more of genuine support I can get. I come from an investment banking background, and I was a forex analyst and an investment banker for a decade. A completely male-dominated society. Someone from Paris, Deepthi, right? She said she lived in a world dominated by men, in the world of computers. I come from the world of finance, completely dominated by men. There are many stories. I was the only female member in the team. And there are many stories. I'm short of time. The bell will start ringing. So I won't get into those stories, but one thing that I realized that in those years of my work experience, I enjoyed money. I enjoyed abundance in life in all parameters. I enjoyed everything because of one single factor. No one around me took a career break. I come from the space where men around me believed in working hard and partying hard at the end of the week. When I got married, I just underwent 2 months of career break. And I relocated from Delhi to Bangalore. In that 2 months, I got to hear many times a simple but a fancy word. It's a very fancy word. I was actually blank when I heard it for the first time. I heard it repeatedly, and then I thought, okay, let me look into the dictionary. The word was a woman on a sabbatical. A woman on a sabbatical, and I didn't know the meaning. Why? Because I was around men most of the time, working hard, partying hard, not knowing what career break is. And that's when I took a career break of 2 months, and I realized that there is a constant tag which is given to women. I was very young, maybe 5 to 6 years old, when my father tagged me with the word rebel. Somehow I felt good about it. I don't know why, but maybe some years later I got the answer. I didn't accept things very easily. And when the investment bankers and the organizations started offering me the paycheck that was way below, 35% down, to the check I was receiving, I was very comfortable in saying, no, I don't want this. I want, if on a career break of 2 months, if I can crack an interview along with a guy next to me who's not taking a career break, then I think I'm more capable than him. Sorry guys, please don't get it personally, but that's how I felt. So I said no, and that no, the 2 months turned out to be 6 frustrating months. Then I realized, let me do something about it in that space for women who are on our career breaks, who are on fancy world of sabbatical. I started interacting with women who are in mid-career, who have just entered into the workforce and also on a career break. I started interviewing them, helping them to scale themselves up and also take decisions before they leave. What is the future vision after they want to join once they come back from the workforce? This webinar of mine turned out to be a good response from women on a career break, and then eventually I planned to start my own talk show. And this talk show is all about creating a holistic approach for women to get into the workforce back again. It's a platform which is virtual. It is recognized by your story as a creative idea in the metro city. It is a platform which is recognized by Words of Wisdom and also by some other marketing agencies. We are trying to create a community of women who want to get back into the workforce, and right from the most basic necessity, like redesigning the resume, to interview skills, how to perform, how to speak when you are in a meeting surrounded by all men, and many more other factors. Our only intention through this talk show and through mentorship program is to make them a little more rebel, a little more cautious, and a little more aware of what they want, and not to come up with any kind of excuse, but realize that you are in a world where you need to step up, step out, and think out of the box. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Neha. I was speaking with her yesterday after the day, and she explained to me her talk show. I said, what channel, where? And she said, it's digital. I'm like, where? She's like, it's on Zoom. I'm like, wow, we've missed out because that's how talk shows happen. So I think, Neha, you're a pioneer because, you know, we're millennials. I didn't know. So congratulations for the work you're doing and for reclaiming the rebellion in us and for bringing women back into where they belong. Thank you. I'd like to bring in another lady here. I invite Preeti Arora to introduce what she founded, Harpreet Herbal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Once again, thank you, Harbin. after 5 minutes. When I got the mail and it was written to speak from heart. Okay, so, and I was sitting here from past 2 hours and I was listening OLX, badi companies, BMW and all. Mine is very small, yaar. Mine is just Harpreet Herbals. Actually, my name is Harpreet Arora. Harbin Arora, Harpreet Arora, quite similar. And my nickname is Preeti. And most of my friends know me by the name of Preeti. So my brand got popular by the name of Mrs. Preeti Arora's Original Organics. Actually, I'm doing with totally organic skin and hair care products. So I'm just sharing my own story. I'm a 44 years old married woman. I'm a mother of 2 sons. My elder son is a lawyer, and younger one is doing medicine abroad, married in a business family where women never worked. So I explained everything, my struggle and everything. So I dreamed of, actually when I was in my teenage, I think it's fine. I know it is the end of the day and all of us are low, but I will make it very interesting. So So when I was a teenager, basically I'm from Delhi, so I developed a asthmatic problem and allergies towards chemical. So I always dreamed of chemical free world. Organic का trend तो अभी start हुआ है. आज से मतलब इतने साल पहले, I will say about 14 years back, मतलब at that time I was 14, so 30 years back, तो वहाँ तब organic नहीं होता था. इंडिया में तो नहीं होता था, बाहर होता तो I don't know. तो तब यही था कि chemical से I developed repulsion, कि नहीं, I always dreamed of chemical free world. But when I got married in a business family, so I didn't get a chance. But luckily, जो कहते हैं ना, ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਕਿਸਮਤ 'ਚ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੇ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ. This is what I feel. Yeah? So, you should have strong determination and honesty. When you are honest, this is the most, when people come to me, na, they ask, Preeti ji, ki special hai ਤੁਹਾਡੇ products? Then I say, honesty. We are honest. और जब आप बोलते हो ना, जब आप किसी को चीज देते हो, when you are able to touch their heart, then you make a connection. You know, I don't say that it's easier to sell clothes or things like that, but skin care bechna is very difficult. You will go to a mall, you go to a shopping mall anywhere. आप 10,000 की 20,000 का साड़ी सूट ले आते हो. स्किन केयर प्रोडक्ट आप 100 रुपए का भी बहुत सोच के लेते हो. And when it is a struggling brand, I'm not talking about big brands like Lancome and like that. When it is a Preeti Arora brand, then you are not going to buy. You need a very, very strong recommendations. So I'm having a list of 27 products and having a big list of my clients in India and abroad. And with every client, I'm having a very interesting story. कि आप कैसे आए मेरे पास? With very, very strong recommendations. I'm not standing here to praise, यार मैंने ये कर दिया, वो कर दिया. But with every client, I'm having a story. And just a small thing I want to share is that allopathic में psoriasis का कोई इलाज नहीं है. But I'm having the ointment. And just that, only with the blessing of Babaji. That was again a miracle, how I came to, that was accidental. वो कहते हैं ना कि रेडियम भी मैडम क्यूरी ने एक्सीडेंटली हुआ था, तो इट इज अगेन एंड एक्सीडेंटल. सो देयर इज अगेन अ स्टोरी विद दैट आल्सो, बट आई डोंट वांट टू बोर यू यार, ये तो अपनी कहानियां सुनाती जा रही है. सो बहुत कुछ लिखा था मैंने इस पेपर में, बट इट्स ऑल आउट. आई एम रियली स्पीकिंग विद माय हार्ट. And this is the only thing I just want to share, that you just need honesty and you just need to bind your clients with honesty. तो ठीक है, बाकी results भी आपको देने पड़ते हैं. What you are saying, you have to prove them. बातें करके आप एक बार product sale कर दोगे, but next time, no. When I sell my night cream, then I say that go and compare it with Lancome. Yes, we are giving that quality. And when I say it's organic, it's really organic. My creams survive only on the essential oils. We add very rich essential oil, pure essential oils. There are no chemicals means no chemicals. It is totally chemical free. जो कि आजकल होता नहीं है. ऑर्गेनिक बोलने का ट्रेंड हो गया. कहते हैं जौन सी चीज को महंगा करना है उसके आगे ऑर्गेनिक वर्ड ऐड कर दो, वो महंगी हो जाएगी. This is the truth. But organic, and we are having face scrub, we are having oils, we are having lotions, conditioners, shampoos, everything. So, and we are still working hard day and night to give you best. Thank you.
Preeti, we are giving you a new tagline for your brand. From your heart to ours. No, from our heart to yours. No, the other way. Good? Good? Harpreet's Herbals, from our heart to yours. Thank you for sharing that endearing, straight from the heart story. Thank you. And no discussion on well-being could ever reach completion if we didn't bring in the medical expert's perspective. And on that note, I invite Dr. Mohsin Wali.
Thank you. I thought while sitting there, I will not say thank you. It happened by reflex. I thought to say something different. Lakh khushiyan padsayan ते सतगुरु नदर करी. A woman is unstoppable after she realizes that she deserves better. With this quote, I start my talk. You are very important members of this meaningful gathering, excellencies, sponsors, media, my panel, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Indigo. I like this when I got the first Indigo flight. I mean, you have to feel young throughout your life. One of the reasons I'm standing here is when I go to people who are younger, I myself start feeling younger. And that's the first reason of coming here. When I was told by someone to come in this forum, I said, Women Economic Forum, Vicky, all W. I said, I have W in my name, Wali. But when I read this carefully, you know, this is very important. It has a very important message for all of us. We men, or in the village people say woman, woman, anything, men is there. So I'm sensibly standing here. Thank you. So my gratefulness to Harbeen. She is a global chairperson, ALL, WEF, and founder president Vicky. And I wish Harbeen your event a great success. When I thought of you and when I think of you, my mind immediately goes to Finland's young parliament. You know, all of you know young Prime Minister Sanna Martin and three colleagues, out of which two are very young. Incidentally, no comparison, my daughter's name is also Sanna. And I'm a staunch supporter of holistic wellness, what my predecessor was talking regarding the skin and organics and everything. I staunchly support all these concepts. I once more salute her business leadership, community leadership, philanthropy, and mission Million 2022 for gathering sisters beyond borders with worldwide spirit of purity, peace, and prosperity for all. Well, I had many things to share, but I'll say one more line for her, because I think most of us don't talk of God when we talk of success. Without God's help, there cannot be success. So in every work, she was talking very nicely of honesty. Ms. Tiwai was also talking of success with respect to some spiritualism, and I do follow it in my life. I have served 3 presidents of India as a doctor, which in no country any doctor has done. And I came to know it much later. So I kept on working hard, working hard, working hard. That was my buzzword in life. You know, today I was very nervous. When I saw my name on the computer, she sent me the mail, last name. When I came here, list also last name was called last name. But you know, you can improve upon it. You are last from the top, but first from the bottom. So I'm always the first. And this was the lesson my father told me in my childhood. You know, once I was in class 11, and I got 99 marks in mathematics in annual exam, and 100 marks in half-yearly exam. I came home very happy, first in the class, first position. Papa, here is my report card. He had a look on that, and he starts beating me. Those days we were beaten, you know. That was love for parents, love of parents for the children. they expressed it that way. Today, if we beat our children, they go out of home. Give me an extra minute, please. This is very important. So, my grandmother started shouting, Chuttan, और तुझे क्यों पीट रहा है लल्ला को? Right? He woke up a little bit. He was telling me that in half-yearly exam, you got 100 marks, in annual exam, 99 marks. Why? Explain. This is tanazzul. It's downfall. It's not the progress. And that was hitting me. I told Papa, half-yearly exam में जो मास्टर ट्यूशन पढ़ाते हैं उनका पेपर था, इस बार दूसरे सेक्शन को जो मास्टर ट्यूशन पढ़ाते हैं उनका पेपर था. As simple as that. The person who used to come home and offer me tuition, he had the paper in the half-yearly exam. The other teacher had in the annual exam. But I'm still the first in the class. He was not convinced. So that day onwards, the second thing which changed my perspective, I'm very honest in telling you this. I was admitted to Agra Medical College, then I liked my mom's home, Kanpur Medical College, so I foolishly applied for a transfer without knowing Agra Medical College is better, but I have no regrets going to Kanpur. Anyway, 15 days of teaching was lost. Of course, extra teaching at Agra. And then I asked who is the topper of the batch. So my friend Bhatia, Dr. Bhatia, who is now Dr. Bhatia, told me, Sunil. I went to his house. He let me listen harmonium. He played for me. Sister made halwa. I still remember first year in my life. And then I asked him, boss, give me the copy. I want to complete my work. You know, that fellow says, how can I give you copy? Abhi to bahut kaam karna hai. And what he was doing, he was opening the copy from the last page and showing me this much has to be done. I said, you have already done extra than what has been taught in the class. So that changed my perspective. Never see what you have accomplished. Always see what you have to achieve. This is the mantra. And third thing, working with the big people like Prime Minister, President, rare achievement, God's kindness, God's mercy. In Hindi, we call it tawfiq, Khuda ki di hui tawfiq. We can't do anything, we can't achieve anything unless we have God's mercy with us. Was amazing experience. I can write a number of books on that, but I avoid writing that if I write something, it will go to press and they'll not like it. So I'm myself a moving encyclopedia. And I have some 30 seconds more. Please. You know, I have left my all the patients for the evening. Well, I was told our company should be successful. You know, another thing, I've done an MBA at the age of 49 years. Wow. And I was awarded for being the youngest student. And I was called, though I did it through the postal course, but seriously did it, 84% marks. I was called by Mr. Pai in his Sikkim Manipal University convocation. The article also appeared in the Hindustan Times. Here is the youngest MBA student who looks a coconut and still did MBA. And one last thing. I heard Richard Branson in one of his speeches, and one sentence echoes in my ears always. Richard Branson told, and it was very funny for me to listen, because we all care for our customers, you have been talking about customers, I'm sure. Richard Branson told, I care for my staff. If you care for your staff, you have already cared for your customer. So that is another mantra I learned from Richard Branson. And last but not the least, you amalgamate the things. Like we are hearing about hybrid cars, we are hearing about theme restaurants, cafes and boutiques, Ayurveda therapy with modern medicine, health resorts, cinemas and malls with cafe and shopping. Nowadays we don't used to have only Moongfali in the picture, all 30 paise ticket. Fashion shows in the aircraft, spacecraft, And most importantly, what you see here, bio-Ayurveda. Very important. So have fusion in your life, fusion of good and better, fusion of everything. And the last thing, I don't know what I've wrote. Yes, 7 sacred Sai values. I must reiterate, nobody will talk about it in this forum. And without that, without spirituality, no worldly work is complete. So with folded hands, I say that for success in any house, any company, any individual, you have to be truthful. As she said, you have to remain poised. That is Shanti, Dharma, Prem, Ahimsa, added with Shraddha and Saburi. And thank you very much for calling me here. I had many more things to speak from my heart, but I'm first in this session and last in this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Wali. You have moved us. We're so grateful for the benediction that came through you. We could not have asked for a more blessed conclusion to this day that's been epic in every way. So thank you for really capturing the essence of our day today. Thank you. Dr. Harbeen, I invite you. We'd like to felicitate the speakers on the finality of day 2. Inviting Nidhi Mehta to accept this recognition as an iconic woman creating a better world for all. Saluting the partnership, inviting Sangeeta Tulsiani and Sunil Tulsiani to accept their awards for the work they do and the partnership they maintain. Neha Tripathi, we congratulate you on this honor. Please accept this award on behalf of the audience. Preeti Arora, please accept this recognition as an iconic woman creating a better world for all. Dr. Mohsin Wali, we congratulate you. You have inspired us by sharing your legacy. You are an exceptional leader of excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, please come up for a group photo. Thank you so much for your patience and kindness and for throwing all that love our way all day, today and yesterday. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So please be well fed, well nourished, well slept. See you in the morning.